Hello there, good people. Hi, Jason with Green Country Agroforestry. Last week we talked about 5 things to know before starting your very first survival garden. Today we're going to cover something that picks up with item number 3. So if you haven't watched that video yet, I'm going to put a link right up there and you can go check it out at your convenience. Item number 3, of course, from that video is plant calories first. So we're going to go a little bit more into that, and I'm going to cover 7 of our favorite calorie-dense foods that are suitable for the home gardener. Let's go ahead and get started. This is Farmer's Bulletin number 877, titled Human Food from an Acre of Staple Farm Products. It was printed by the United States Department of Agriculture back in 1917, prior to the United States entering into the First World War. Back then, food shortages were a major concern, and I wanted to use this as sort of an inspirational point for coming up with our own list of top 7 calorie-dense foods for the home garden. Begin our countdown with item number 7, the peanut. Peanuts are one of the most calorie-dense foods you can find. There's 567 calories for every 100 grams. That's mostly fat calories. There's 38 grams of protein in this little legume, and that's what it is. It's a legume. It's not really a vegetable. And legumes form associations with beneficial bacteria down there at the root level, where they will draw nitrogen out of the air and supply it to not only the peanut, but also everything else around it. So you can think of peanut as being kind of like a fertilizer that you plant, but it gives you something that you can eat too. So you've heard all the wonderful things about peanuts. Now let's talk about calories per square foot. The spacing for a peanut should be about 1 every square foot, maybe as much as 18 inches. And since each plant does not produce a lot of peanuts, that means the calories per square foot for a peanut is only about 130. Again, item number 6 in our countdown today is a root vegetable that originated in Peru, maybe about 4,500 years ago, perhaps even longer. That's just the earliest archaeological evidence that we found of it being cultivated there. And of course, we're talking about sweet potatoes. So sweet potatoes have 86 calories per 100 grams, and they're a decent source of vitamin B6 and other essential nutrients. You plant 1 sweet potato slip for every square foot, which gives us about 390 calories per square foot produced, and you can grow them either as a vine up a trellis like we're getting ready to do here inside the grape arbor, or you can just let them sprawl out on the ground as a ground cover. It's your choice. And our countdown continues with item number 5, beans. Now, if pole beans like this just aren't your jam, that's okay. Beans come in a wide variety of different growing habits. There's the vining ones, of course, like we're doing here, and there are also bush beans, and even kind of a bean that grows up like a tree and produces its beans on a stalk. Any way you slice it, you get about 445 calories per square foot of intensive planting of beans. That's not bad at all. Coming in at number 4 on our countdown is a short vining plant that can be grown both in the early season and the late season if you have a long enough growing season. It's the plant so nice, we planted it twice, and of course we're talking about sweet peas. Now, unlike some of the other food items we've discussed, the preservation of peas is going to involve a little extra work. You can either can them or freeze them, or you could mash the peas up and then dry them, grind that up into a powder to add to your soups and stews later on during the winter. That'll fill you up good. With the ability to plant this crop twice in 1 year in some areas, 648 calories per square foot, I think it's worth the extra effort, don't you? Now, me personally, I like to eat them fresh when they're still in the pod right off the plant. They're so sweet and so tender. Well, I hope you've been enjoying our list of our top 7 calorie-dense foods suitable for the home garden. And if you have, could you reach down there and maybe hit that like button for me? Thanks, I appreciate it. It'll help the algorithm. Let's get on to number 3. The potato! Back in 1917, when the U.S. Department of Agriculture was releasing Farmer's Bulletin number 877, potatoes came in at number 3 on their list as well. Today, modern agricultural techniques, potatoes could be bringing in 17 million calories per acre or more. So if you're a home grower with a reasonably long cool season, you can grow potatoes and expect to get around 716 calories per square foot of this particular crop. Given its long standing as the king of calories, at least commercially produced calories that is, it's no wonder that our number 2 spot goes to corn. Now we're not talking about your sissy sweet corn here, oh no. We're talking about flour corn, dent corn, like this big horse spotted corn that I've got right here. This heirloom native corn is one of the most genetically diverse that you can find anywhere. You'll get about 386 calories per 100 grams dry and almost 10 grams of protein. Even more if you nixtamalize. We'll talk about that more in some future videos. But that doesn't even come close to our number 1 choice, which we're going to be telling you all about next. With only 320 calories per 100 grams and just 5 grams of protein in that 100 grams, our number 1 contender might seem inferior to corn at first. As a matter of fact, many people don't even recognize it as a food at all, and that's simply a lack of education. And of course, talking about the canna lily. Now specifically, we're talking about Canna indica purpurea, which is the one over here on the left, although also the variegated Canna edulis over here on the right produces some decent sized roots as well. The secret to Canna's status as a calorie producing powerhouse lies in its rhizomes. Here in Zone 7A, one single plant can grow 20 pounds of rhizomes during the growing season, covering a total of 4 square feet altogether. It's 17 pounds once they've been peeled, and yes, if you're using your calculators, your eyes aren't deceiving you. This plant produces over 6,000 calories per square foot. Well, good people, that's all I've got for you today. As always, I hope you found this video informative or entertaining, and if you did, well, you know what to do. I'll catch you next time. Until then, get out there and get growing. I don't like lettuce. That seems like a strange thing to say in the middle of a video about calorie-dense foods, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't particularly care for most lettuces. I find them to be rather bland and consisting of mostly cellulose and water. It'll fill your belly, but it doesn't really provide you with any nutrition. So I've developed a fondness for edible flowers. And it was in the search of an edible flower that I stumbled into this next vegetable that we're going to talk about. Our number 1 actually pick for calorie dense foods for the home garden. So I got these flowers that I was going to plant around for more edible flowers for salad making and stuff like that. I got the little roots for them. They're tiny little things, just itsy bitsy. And I knew that it was said that you could eat the roots, and well, that's nice and all, but you know, they're tiny little things. I didn't really see that these were going to be worth much for an edible food crop. There was going to be a lot of work and a lot of effort to try to grow enough of these to harvest them for roots and eat the roots. I digress. As the season went on, as the plants grew, as they got bigger, I enjoyed the flowers. The bees and the hummingbirds, they enjoyed the flowers. And then at the end of the season, I decided, let's go ahead and save some of those roots and store them for winter. And I went and I dug them up, and that's when I discovered that lo and behold, I had indeed found a really good root crop. I didn't really realize how good.